So, thinking about courage and Gestalt, I know that when Thomas asked us about the masterclass, I immediately had this sense of excitement and that this was something that you and I could resonate to. Exactly, and that we knew. And I suppose where I went initially was to the idea of ethical presence and the idea that to be present and fully turn up in Gestalt is such a core aspect of our practice, and that takes courage.
And I think primarily it felt important in the way we defined courage or understood courage is that it is quite countercultural, because most people think about courage as overcoming your anxiety and your fears. It sort of takes me back to that book, by is it Susan Jeffers, who says, feel the fear and do it anyway.
That's right.
And the focus seems so much on do.
Yes.
And
be heroic.
Be heroic. Go into that building and sort of save your burning building and save someone there. And in a way, what excited us more about courage is actually to go think and actually go more to the Paul Tillich courage. So what's it, the courage to be?
Yes.
And it's how much more difficult it is, and how much in our practice and our definition of presence, it's about how we be with each other. That's a real sign of courage.
Exactly. And I think that move, you mentioned Tillich, and he says that courage is the premier value in a way, and that all other values stem from that aspect of being able to say yes to life and to the unfolding of a situation. And as you say, we can contrast what we can do with how we can be. And also, I'm thinking as a Gestalt practitioner, those two dimensions lie at the heart of our practice. How we're being with clients and organisations, but also then what that empowers us to do, and particularly, I think with the relational Gestalt lens, to do together.
Exactly. And I think at the heart of courage is really the sense of engaging and engagement. It's not just how to be with ourselves, but how to be with others and how to be with a given situation. And if I think on a psychotherapeutic lens or organizational lens, actually the greatest step is actually the courage to engage. I think when I think about Gestalt and courage, I think it's what comes back to mind for me is what Alain Badiou actually said, really, that each philosophy is determined by by its own definition of courage. And when I look at the Gestalt philosophy in particular, I think courage is inherent in it. And I could go with the way we encourage our clients to stay with, the courage to stay with in terms of the paradoxical theory of change, and the courage then to engage with other and engage with the situation. So it's fundamental in our approach. And I think that's something that you and I, from a relational lens, have looked at in many ways. The courage to be with self, other, situation.
Yeah. Yes, if I think of the relational change formulation and foundational framework, I guess, that we call the SOS model. Yes, we were looking at the three lenses of self, other, and situation, and saying that when our awareness of those three lenses is aligned, then we come into this state that is very present in the moment, but also contains this aspect that we call ethical, because we're then co-emerging. And we mentioned Alain Badiou, French philosopher, who talks about fidelity to the event site. And as we think about paradoxical theory of change and staying with the process as something that we encourage clients to do, not just as a way of dealing with difficulty, but also as a way of flourishing and thriving in their lives. And I guess a shorthand way of referring to that would be courage, and to get in touch with those aspects of self that we might think of, yes, we call on a heroic energy, but we're also calling on a wisdom energy, and a wisdom that is held not just in our individual self and what we might do, but in the wider field and the collective, so that we look then and start thinking about self-support as the hero, but also the environmental support of the field and others.
So truly, the courage of the warrior and the sage.